Hello and welcome to the Planning Commission meeting. Today is Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. It's 6:30 p.m. We are going to start off tonight with a prayer by Member Wilson, and then please join me in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Our Father in heaven, we bow ourselves before thee once again at the beginning of this planning and zoning meeting. We're grateful for the opportunity we have to live in this beautiful valley with all of our neighbors and friends. We pray that thy Spirit might attend us this night, that as we discuss these proposals, that we may be able to make decisions that are good for both parties. And we ask for these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda for tonight? Motion by Member Sessions. Second by Member McMillan. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Any conflict of interest with anything on our agenda tonight? Seeing none, we will now move into public comment. All of the items on our agenda tonight are administrative, so there will not be a public hearing for any of the items on the agenda. If there's anything you would like to speak to us about, you may come forward now. If you do so, please state your name for the record. Thank you. Seeing no takers, we will move on to our first administrative item for the evening.
Madam Chair, and good evening to the Planning Commission. Item number 6 on your agenda is the Range Phase 1 Number 1 Plat Amendment. It's file number 25.052. The applicant is Chase Freeburn. Member of that organization is in the audience tonight, Madam Chair. The owner is CW The Range LLC. The property is identified as really the whole subdivision, but is identified by the parcel numbers and serial numbers in your meeting packet tonight, Madam Chair. The current zoning of the subdivision is R120, which is a residential 1 unit per 20,000 square foot minimum zone. The acreage is approximately 19.29 acres combined for the whole subdivision, and the request for tonight is to remove the temporary fire access easement located along the north boundary of the Range Phase 1 subdivision. Madam Chair, the subdivision plat was recorded last year, I believe in the fall, and was recorded with an easement that originally required the subdivision to provide emergency fire access during development. The subdivision roadway, North Frontier Drive, has been constructed to a point where it will provide safe ingress and egress for the subdivision for emergency and at a future point general traffic within a public 60-foot right-of-way, making the temporary easement unnecessary. That said, the reviewing staff consisting of the planning office, the county engineer, county surveyor, the county recorder, and the fire department, all having reviewed, I recommend approval to this body tonight, Madam Chair. Josh and I are happy to answer any questions as staff. Thank you. I yield my time.
Thank you. Questions?
This easement, you say, was for fire access.
Right.
Is there secondary emergency access?
Yeah, the secondary emergency access is through Trappers Point. And that's not correct. So The road into the range is complete. The only thing that they haven't done is seal coat and striping. UDOT has provided them approval, an emergency, I don't remember the exact word that they use, but it's an emergency approval allowing it for construction and emergency vehicles to continue to access that through the winter until they can stripe it, because they need to wait for temperatures greater than 50 degrees in order to do the seal coat.
Or to put the acceleration lane in or not.
Those have been constructed. The striping's not in. They need to wait for the 50 degrees in order to do the seal coat and the striping. And so UDOT gave them temporary approval to use their entrance for emergency and construction. Yeah, that way the construction traffic is not going to go through Trappers Point anymore. It should just go through their entrance. Yep.
I have a question just about, in general, these types of things, and they just seem annoying. Is there a way to do this in the future where they're self-extinguishing, based on certain criteria? They just disappear. They don't have to go through the plat amendment process?
Unfortunately, since they showed it on the plat, in order to get rid of that easement, it has to go through a plat amendment
I
based
get
on
it for
state
this
statute.
one, but in the future, if we have situations like this, is there a way to just avoid this? It just seems silly to.
Plat amendments are required for changing a plat, so I don't think so. I can talk to the county commission, and if they choose, they can hear this directly instead of it going through the planning commission, but that'd be up to them.
No, that's not my suggestion. My suggestion is either it's not shown on the plat at all, and it's just a separate easement, or it's shown on the plat as a self-extinguishing easement. So it just goes away.
Yeah, if it's going to be shown on the plat, it's not going to be self-extinguishing. It needs to be removed through a plat amendment. So this was requested to be put on the plat by the fire department, and as such, it was placed on the plat.
Any more questions from staff? The applicant is welcome to speak if you would like to. I think it's pretty straightforward, but you are welcome if you'd like to come forward. Cool. Any additional discussion?
No motion?
If you want a motion.
I'll make a motion. I move that we recommend approval to the county commission of the Range Phase 1, number 1 plat amendment, application number 25.052 to remove the temporary fire access easement located along the north boundary of the Range Phase 1 subdivision, based on the findings and with the conditions listed in the staff report dated January 22nd, 2026.
Second.
I have a motion by member Taylor, a second by member Watt. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 7 on the agenda is the Village at Trappers Loop Townhomes Site Plan, application 25.044. The applicant is Wayne Johnson. Two of the members of that organization are in the audience tonight, Madam Chair. The owner is Soderby Ltd. The project location is approximately 600 feet south of the intersection of North Queens Garden Road and West Old Highway Road in Mountain Green, and as identified by the parcel number and serial number in your staff report tonight. The current zoning is RM15, which is a multiple residential district. The acreage total for the parcel is 8.45 acres, and the request for tonight is for site plan approval of the Village at Trappers Loop Townhome subdivision to allow for the construction of 45 townhomes. Madam Chair, that's 10 buildings, approximately 9.24 units per acre. The review of a site plan includes, it's multifaceted. It includes a review of landscaping, parking, lighting, elevations, and similarly the building materials, as well as the multifamily residential design standards. The landscaping calls out for 15% of the site to be landscaped and 85% of that number to be plant material. Lighting is a review conducted by Photometrics Plan, which the county engineer largely reviews. Parking is a little bit confusing. It's in our code and has a table, and just got to match it up right per the request. And the building materials is included in your packet. If you click the link, each building is shown. The reviewing staff for this application includes the planning department, as well as the county engineer, the Mountain Green Fire Protection District, and the secondary county engineer for drainage specifically. Reading my notes here. That's actually all I have, Madam Chair. Again, the applicant's in the audience, and Josh and I can answer questions as staff. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any questions for staff?
I've got a couple of questions. Your landscaping chart that you have in our packet, it says that the developed park area is 69,000 square feet for 28% of the development, and that isn't, I believe, in air. It was 7,589 according to the plat, or the plan. So the actual percentage, that 28.4 is the landscape area, not the park. All that green.
We'll take a look at that number.
We can have them correct that on the final plans.
So the actual percent goes up to 37.7% in landscaped area, so it is even more than that chart represents. Then I have a question on the materials. Normally when we get, I noticed on the notes, it has the different building materials identified by number, but there's no corresponding numbers on the elevation to know what is what. My concern is there's a lot of stucco.
Yeah,
I don't know. I can't. It looks like all the sides and back.
we had the same concern. So I had Jeremy reach out today to find out what percentage of stucco, and they sent us updated drawings that remove the stucco completely.
It's substituted for hardy board.
So I remember we had quite a discussion with the Rome ones, and we limited the stucco to
Yeah,
percent.
our code does limit the percentage. It's got to be less than 51%, if I remember correctly. And we did have that long discussion
I
several
think we
years
got
ago.
it down to 30, yes.
Yeah. The new drawings that we were sent today from the engineer removed the stucco completely.
So does that become part of this official submittal and what we would be approving tonight?
Yeah, you would just make a condition or a stipulation in your motion that the elevations that show no stucco are the approved elevations.
Is it possible to pull that up?
Yeah, I'll have Jeremy do that.
Just need a moment.
Okay, no worries.
I have a
I have a
question.
question.
Go ahead. You first, go.
Wait for Jeremy to come back.
Sorry. Thank you.
So those end elevations are hardy as well?
Yes. If it was stucco, you'd have to approve with specific authority as spelled out in code for stucco, and it's defined as it's only for like accents and other things like that, so no need for that tonight.
I have a question, not related to these faces, these photos, but this is a narrow area, and there's a description in there about how access during development is going to take place. Could you just kind of outline that for me on the board? I'm worried about the disruption, all the vehicles, all the building. That's a narrow place with private land, and it talks about access roads during development. Could you just kind of lay that out for me?
Yeah, that's not really a discussion point. The engineer has reviewed this. They're good with the design of the roads. They're going to be private, which allows for the hammerheads to be used. Before construction can even begin, we'll have a pre-construction meeting with our engineer, our water engineer, water, sewer, and all the other players. But typically that takes place during the pre-construction.
Then I'll withdraw my question.
Thank you.
I have a question about parking. I can see the driveway length in here, and it says that there's 2 stalls per unit
That's correct.
provided and 2 stalls per unit required under the code.
It only requires 2 stalls for single family or multifamily. Guest and other visitor parking is not a requirement of our code. So unfortunately, we can't require that. The 2 spaces within the garage count as the 2 spaces.
I guess that was my question. How do we, number one, I didn't see the difference in the county code that's called out in the new state code for the 9x20 exterior and the 10x20 interior. And I didn't see any floor plans in here that would allow me to verify, number one, the width of the driveway, or number 2, the dimensions of the garage. So I'm assuming that it must mean that you've checked that.
Yeah, we have checked that. The scales are on the site plan. We can measure those in Bluebeam. The garages will have to be a minimum of 18 feet wide by, 20 feet deep.
To have 2 garage parking stalls?
Yeah, each space is 9 by 18.
Is that what we say in our code?
Yeah, our
9 by
code.
18? So our code's smaller. We allow smaller than the state.
I believe it says 9 by 20 in our code, but it might say 9 by 18, one of the two. But it is in our code. I don't know about the state code. I just know about
State code
ours.
just says you can't, if they meet 10 by 20 in a garage, then that has to count as a stall. We could go smaller, and 9 by 20 in the driveway. So I just wasn't able to measure it on anything.
Yeah, the dimensions are on the dimensions are on the site plan. We provided a link to the drawings that you could have pulled up the full sets. Our engineers checked it. We've done our check. The 2 parking spaces for the garage appear to work.
Is that, I guess, something we can look into? I've just developed stuff like this, and that's actually pretty decent parking, but our parking code at 2, they've gone over and above the parking code, right? With
Well,
their 2 in the garage, 2 in the driveway. I mean, functionally,
Functionally, that exceeds our code by double.
yeah.
If you want to make a motion that we double check before the county commission meeting, we can do that. But as far as my professional opinion and our engineer and in our review, it meets our code.
I'm fine with this functionally. I think it'll work great. I'm just a little more concerned about our code in general, just with 2 stalls. That seems to be
Yeah, no argument.
inviting trouble.
Yeah, there should be. Most codes also require visitor parking, things like that, and ours does not.
Okay. The applicant does provide visitor parking.
Yeah, I see. They've gone kind of above and beyond. Another question on those hammerheads. Does the applicant own that property that the proposed hammerheads are on?
I'll let the applicant speak to that. I know the individual that owns that. I don't know if the applicant's a partner with them or not. That would be up for them to discuss.
I guess the question is there a guarantee that these people have the right to use that hammerhead and rely on those hammerheads on somebody else's property if they don't own it?
Well, we would require a signed easement to be recorded.
Okay. Then I don't, it's fine.
Okay.
As long as you guys are taking care of that. And then, I didn't see anything in the code where it limits the number of units, and I don't know, it labels this as a public street on the right-hand side of the drawing there. Rollins Ranch Road. Does Rollins Ranch Road exist?
North of West Old Highway Road, but not south yet.
So,
Not with this subdivision.
and the fire marshal has reviewed this? I'm just curious from my
Fire
own
is
sake,
part of the review, yeah.
how many units can somebody put in with only one way out?
Well, it depends on whether they're sprinkled or not, number one.
Are these sprinkled?
You'll have to ask the applicant. We do have a sprinkler code, and there are exceptions in that code. They will have to meet fire code and fire sign-off during the pre-construction meeting in order to proceed. Fire has reviewed this. The way we calculate the number of units that a property can have, we take the total acreage, we subtract out 8,000 square feet for the first unit, and then we divide the remaining by 3,500 square feet, which gives you the total amount of units that you might be able to fit on there. This is far lower than that.
Yeah, and I've just fought this back and forth. The fire code would definitely allow this because they're townhomes, even if they're not sprinkled. But I didn't know if the county had some additional restriction, but it doesn't sound like.
No, it's the fire code, and the authority having jurisdiction, the AHJ, would be the one to sign off.
That's all I have.
Any additional questions for staff? The applicant is welcome to speak if you'd like to. If you would like to come forward, you're welcome to speak. The applicant, Wayne. If you would like to speak, you're welcome to. Do you have a question about sprinkling?
No, I'm fine without it.
Any?
On fire, I heard you ask a question. We have a 1,000,000-gallon tank. We have a 10-inch line stubbed in from the other side of Lee's Market right now. We can easily flow 2,000 gallons of water a minute.
Any other questions for the applicant? We're good. Thank you.
Ready for motion?
Any discussion? Good.
I move we recommend approval to the county commission for the Village at Trappers Loop Townhomes Site Plan, application number 25.044, allowing for the proposed multifamily development located approximately 600 feet south of the intersection of North Queens Garden Road and West Old Highway Road in unincorporated Morgan County, based on the findings and with the conditions listed in the staff report dated January 22nd, 2026, with the following added condition: that the elevations show that no stucco will be used as a building material.
And the updated landscape? No.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Member Sessions, second by Member Taylor. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you, Madam Chair. little bit of deja vu. This is the same applicant and same project, but this is the Village of Trappers Loop Townhome Preliminary Plat. Application number 25.030. Same aforementioned applicant, Wayne Johnson, Soderby LLC is the owner. Same location, 600 foot south of the intersection of North Queens Garden Road and West Old Highway Road, with the parcel number, serial number identified in your packet tonight. Current zoning is multiple residential district, the RM15, and the acreage is 8.45 acres. The request is for preliminary plat approval of the Village of Trappers Loop Townhome subdivision to allow for the construction of 45 townhomes. Again, Madam Chair, the RM15 zone is a medium density residential zoning, and where the site plan looked at the aforementioned tenets of landscaping and parking, etc., the preliminary plat looks at the subdivision boundaries, the lot layouts therein, looks at grading and drainage and utility plans, and also takes a look specifically at infrastructure and public facilities. The reviewing staff, Madam Chair, consisting of the planning department, county engineer, the Morgan County addressing official, and the Mountain Green Fire Department, all having reviewed this and recommending approval of this application recommending approval of this application. The Planning Commission providing a recommendation to the County Commission. Otherwise, Josh and I are happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Questions for staff?
It is nice to see the amenity in phase one.
Looking for a motion? I'll make a motion. I move we recommend approval of the County Commission of the Village of Trappers Loop Townhomes preliminary plat, application number 25.030, allowing for a 45-unit townhome subdivision of land located approximately 600 feet south of the intersection of North Queens Garden Road and West Old Highway Road in unincorporated Morgan County, based on the findings and with the conditions listed in the staff report dated January 22nd, 2026.
Motion by Member Taylor,
Second.
second by Member McMillan. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries unanimous.
Easier ones, don't
Do you guys have any staff or business questions for us?
Unfortunately, the next agenda is not going to be all administrative items. There's going to be some other stuff, including a continuance that occurred, I think, in December for the shooting range.
Okay.
We are going to have training. I'm going to talk to Garrett, Mike, and Matt and see if they want to do a next meeting or if they want to push it off to the second meeting in February, where it might be a lighter agenda.
Okay.
But that's pretty much it. There's usually a spring training conference for planning. If anybody, I'll keep my eye out for when it's posted. If anybody wants to attend something like that, we do have funding for that here in the state. So just let me know.
And just so, our bylaws say the election of our officers are first meeting in March.
Oh, it is first meeting in March?
Our bylaws say that, yeah.
Okay. I just figured it was the first meeting in January, but we can hold it off until March. That's fine.
Speaking of bylaws, I think we're supposed to update them per the county commission. I think they're super dated.
They are really dated.
Before
and
this
we're not
layout
even, yeah,
was even done.
yeah.
So maybe, I know it sounds like the next meeting is pretty packed, but maybe on a lighter meeting we could-
Yeah. If someone wants to nudge me, I do have it in my task list.
Okay.
But honestly, unless I get nudged, it probably doesn't rise to the top of it,
Okay.
which it does, it should be.
Okay. Cool. And then I was not at the last meeting, but I watched it, and you guys looked like you had a lot of fun. And I know, I love the laughs. I know civic review was brought up, and it seems like we don't have access to that, and we used to. Is there a reason we don't have access to civic review?
Do you want to answer that, or do you want me to?
I can.
So the planning commission's duties are not to double check staff and whether we've done all the reviews and gotten everything done. There's a list of 8 things in our code that the planning commission's duties require. And having access to everything that staff has access to is not technically your job. So in my discussions with the county commissioners, which is what they're going to come talk to you about, your job is to stick to the duties that are found in the zoning ordinance, which basically states that you review the items that staff provides along with the report, and you make your recommendation accordingly.
I think the concern I found watching the meeting was not that anyone's double checking work. There was information that wasn't provided that might have been helpful for the planning commission to have, like that was asked about.
Presentation.
The presentation to review maybe more in depth.
Again, that's not our presentation to give to you. The staff gave you a staff report. We provided you the documentation that we felt you needed to review and make your recommendation. The applicant presented their presentation, and because of that, you were to make a recommendation based on the information you had received both from staff and the applicant.
Yeah, it's in our ordinances that the planning commission based their recommendation on the staff report and what staff provides. And it's really to ensure that staff is doing their job and getting everything together. I mean, that's their job, is to pull the vital things and check off all the boxes to make sure that everything you need to review per the ordinance is included. And yeah. And then it just happens with some of these applicants, there's more things that people want that, you know, I don't know that we can anticipate everything. So. Certainly, like, if you notice in going through the packet beforehand, like, come down to planning and ask and see if those things are available or that's something that can be included, because that would help a lot too, so that we're not scrambling during the meeting trying to find it.
Any other questions?
I will put the invitation out there again. I'm more than willing to meet with any of the planning commissioners during the week before the meeting. And if you have specific questions, I have no problem going through it with you. I don't.
I don't think, and maybe I'm wrong watching, it looked like there was, and I don't know when the presentation came about. I don't think people knew that there would be a presentation. Does that make sense? That was just the third party vibe I got watching. Does that, it wasn't like engineer's comments. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of times in our packet, it says engineer approves of comments. And we could come to you and be like, hey, Josh, the engineer approved this. Like,
Yeah, this wasn't reviewed by an engineer. This was reviewed by our attorneys and me. We spent 18 months on it. We went through it with them. They provided the documentation that they needed to get on the agenda. It was their choice to give a presentation.
okay. Understood. Questions? Do I have a motion to approve the January 8th, 2026 Planning Commission meeting
So
minutes?
moved.
Motion by member Sessions,
Second.
second by member Watt. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Do I have a motion to adjourn?